Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles the Bands, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got an excellent show for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Make sure y'all follow me on there. So anyway, let's get into today's topic, okay? You know that people have been roasting and toasting two of the NBA's roadrunners in Kevin Durant and LeBron James after they went up there, especially KD, went up there and just put his foot, he put 3 shoes and a basket in his mouth, where he tried to make fun of Michael Jordan retiring the first time in 1993 without mentioning the fact that he had lost his father. And as he's up there making fun of the guy for going playing baseball, he didn't mention the fact that his father was the reason he wanted to go play baseball, because his dad always wanted him to play. He didn't mention any of that. And then you got LeBron James in the background cackling like a pack of hyenas from Lion King or something like that. So you had that. The internet came out and destroyed KD. Destroyed him. And then there's an audio surfacing of him doing an about face after his ridiculous comments there, right? So apparently there's some type of golf tournament going on somewhere in the United States. I don't know. I've never played. I tried to play golf once, and I'm like, man, yeah, you're gonna need a lot of patience, and you're gonna need a lot of time. Who knows? Maybe I'll start playing it next year. Who knows? If I have free time. Who knows, right? But anyway, so there's some golf tournament going on, and Dan Patrick is interviewing various NBA players. I got a chance to hear a little bit from him when he spoke to Grant Hill, but then he sat down with Charles Barkley. And whenever anybody puts a microphone in front of Charles Barkley, you already know it's going to be fireworks, folks. And in this particular case, it was no exception. So they were talking about basketball and the game and how the game is today and all of that, and you people, the KD and all of that. And then Charles Barkley absolutely destroys the ungrateful players of the NBA today who trash players like Larry Bird and all of them. And basically pointed out the NBA would not be what it is today had it not been for the contribution of players like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan. And I'm like, this is what we need to hear. We need to get some pushback to all of this nonsense that's being propagated out here by these new NBA media guys, right? But before we get into what Chuck had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what I want to do now is I'm going to play exactly what Charles Barkley had to say on the Dan Patrick Show, and I'm going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Charles Barkley here.
Magic had James Worthy and Kareem, and Magic is great. You know, we owe all our success in the NBA to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. They're the 2 most important people in NBA history. They're the reason the NBA makes some money today. Obviously, Michael took it to a whole nother level. But if it wasn't for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, the NBA wouldn't be what it was today, plain and simple.
What if Bird doesn't injure his back?
Well, he still is one of the greatest players ever. I mean, you know.
Because what was it, a 10-year career?
I think it was more than that. But you have to factor in, though, then the physicality of the game. We all had to go to college for 3 and 4 years. You know, these guys, number one, bless these guys. They make a deal how long they play. Number one, they never went to college. And also, there's no physicality. you have to factor in these guys I played 3 years of college. I think Bird played 4 years of college. Michael played 3 years of college. Tim Duncan played 4 years of college. David Robinson played 4 years of college. So the guys talk about, well, these guys, like I say, and listen, it's a different game now because no physicality, but you have to factor in all the years some of these guys lost going to college. You know, I think Bird went to college. I mean, he went to 2 or 3 schools, if I remember correctly, before he went to Indiana State. But Bird, man, he was amazing.
Excellent. So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say. Charles is essentially saying the NBA that we know today was built on the back of players like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and players like Michael Jordan who took it to a different level. I saw a graphic the other day on Instagram that was chronicling some of the highest paid players in the NBA over the years. At one point, players were earning less than $1 million, $1 million, $1.5 million. I think at one point I saw Patrick Ewing earning $3 million, $4 million. Patrick Ewing, a top 75 guy, to the point where now you have players like Karl Anthony Towns that are earning probably 10 times that amount, right? But had it not been for these guys that laid the foundation, players like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, who saved the NBA, there would be no NBA to talk about. Now, here's the irony of all of this. All of the guys that take shots at players in the past never would have had that same impact had you put them in the past. All of these guys, like your JJ, they would have been ancillary. They would not have even mattered. They would not have even moved the needle. But yet they're up there flapping their gums. This is the reason why I don't like JJ Redick. JJ Redick benefits by the players and eras that he trashes. JJ Redick is a multimillionaire because those guys brought money into the sport. But then wants to say something critical about them and dismiss them. That's why I can't stand people like JJ Redick. Never will. And all these other bozos that put their foots in their mouth whenever they try to talk about players in the past. Players that signed $100 million contracts, bro. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson never signed a $100 million contract. He never did. And clearly he did more for basketball than any one of these dudes talking. But yet you guys want to make fun of him? And I'm just happy that we're hearing from a guy that would have been good in any era, even this era, pushing back on some of these players' nonsense. Charles is saying you guys need to knock it the hell off. You need to knock it off and show some respect and reverence. KD was up there saying his ridiculous comments, like as if Michael Jordan is not the reason you even have a shoe deal. Like as if it's not Michael Jordan and players like him from his era that made us even care about basketball players like you. But you up there making fun of him. And you got all of these other NBA guys making fun of him. But they benefited from the league that they built. And one can make a serious argument that these guys today are not even laying a foundation for those in the future. We can make a serious argument for that. How do I know that? Look at the commitment to the sport. I just heard some comments recently from Ricky Rubio talking about the number one talking point in NBA locker rooms is who has the better car, who has the nicer watch. He's like, doesn't even seem to be a love for the game anymore. He said he's noticing that also in the European leagues. This is where the game is now. It's no longer about the love of the game. Look at how players perform in the All-Star weekend. They don't care anymore. So what do you think the next generation is going to do and feel? And Charles Barkley's calling these guys out, and I am happy that somebody's calling out these ridiculous talking points that these guys try to propagate. You guys let me know what you think about what Chuck had to say in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.